early 17th century, a time of exploration and burgeoning global trade. Queen Elizabeth I, recognizing the potential for wealth and influence, granted a charter to a group of ambitious London merchants. This charter officially created the British East India Company, a powerful entity with the authority to trade and negotiate on behalf of the Crown. The year was 1600, marking the beginning of a new era in British and Indian history. The company had one primary goal: to make a profit through trade and commerce. India, with its abundant spices, exquisite textiles and immense riches, was an irresistible target for the company's commercial ambitions. Initially, the company's focus was purely commercial, aiming to establish profitable trade routes and partnerships. They sought trading rights with the powerful Mughal Empire, which then ruled most of India with great authority and wealth. Among the most coveted commodities were pepper and other valuable spices, which were in high demand in Europe. They also sought after India's fine cotton and silk, which were renowned for their quality and craftsmanship. The Mughal Emperor Akbar, recognizing the potential benefits, granted the company permission to trade in 1608. This was a significant development as it allowed the British to establish a foothold in the lucrative Indian market. It opened the doors for the British to establish a presence in India, setting the stage for future expansion. The company's early years were marked by a slow but steady expansion of its trading activities, laying the groundwork for a more extensive network. They established factories, which were essentially trading posts, in various strategic coastal cities. These included Surat, Madras, now known as Chennai, and Calcutta, now called Kolkata. These cities quickly became bustling hubs of commerce, attracting traders and merchants from all over the world. They connected India to the growing global trade network, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. The company's presence in India had a profound impact, influencing local economies and societies. It gradually shifted the balance of power, altering the political landscape of the region. The Mughal Empire, once a mighty force, began to decline in the 18th century, leading to a period of instability. This power vacuum created an opportunity for the British to expand their influence and control. The company, with its growing economic and military might, was poised to fill the void left by the weakening Mughal Empire. This shift from commerce to conquest is a central theme in understanding how the British took over India, transforming from traders to rulers. The establishment of the first trading post in Surat in 1612 marked a pivotal moment. It symbolized the beginning of the British East India Company's enduring presence in India. Surat, a bustling port city on the western coast, was a hub of international trade. It attracted merchants from across the globe, including Arabs, Persians, and Europeans. The company's decision to establish a factory in Surat was strategic. Surat was ideally located to capitalize on the lucrative trade routes that crisscrossed the Indian Ocean. The company's merchants established relationships with local traders and rulers. They secured access to valuable commodities, such as spices, textiles, and indigo. The factory in Surat became a vital link in the company's growing trading network. The initial years of the Surat factory were not without challenges. The company faced competition from other European powers, notably the Portuguese and the Dutch. They navigated the complex political landscape of Mughal India. Despite these hurdles, the Surat factory flourished. It became a symbol of the company's growing influence. The success in Surat provided a blueprint for the company's expansion in the following decades. They established trading posts along the Indian coastline. Each new factory strengthened their foothold in the subcontinent. These early trading posts were the seeds from which the British Empire in India would eventually grow. They represented the first steps in a long and complex process that would ultimately transform the Indian subcontinent. The year 1757 marked a turning point in the history of British involvement in India. It was a year that would change the course of Indian history forever. This pivotal moment was the Battle of Plac. This decisive battle pitted the British East India Company against Siraj-ud-Dowlah, the Nawab of Bengal. The stakes were incredibly high for both sides. The battleground was located near the town of Plassey in present-day West Bengal. This location would soon become synonymous with betrayal and a dramatic shift in power. The forces involved were seemingly mismatched. The Nawab's army was vast and well-equipped. The Nawab commanded a vast army while the company's forces were significantly smaller. On paper, the Nawab should have easily won. However, the British had a secret weapon: treachery. This underhanded tactic would prove to be their ace in the hole. Robert Clive, the company's military commander, orchestrated a conspiracy. His cunning and strategic mind were pivotal in the unfolding events. He bribed Mir Jafar, the Nawab's commander-in-chief, to switch sides. This act of betrayal would seal the fate of the Nawab. The betrayal of Mir Jafar proved decisive. The Nawab's forces were thrown into disarray. The Nawab's army, leaderless and confused, was routed. The chaos on the battlefield was palpable. Siraj-ud-Dawla was captured and executed. His downfall was swift and brutal. The Battle of Plac was a resounding victory for the British. Their triumph was complete and unequivocal. The significance of Plac cannot be overstated. It was a watershed moment in the history of India. It marked a shift in the company's role in India. They were no longer just traders. No longer were they mere traders. They had transformed into a formidable military power. They were now a major military power. This transformation had far-reaching consequences. The victory at Plac gave the company control over Bengal, one of the wealthiest provinces in India. This control was a game-changer. This control translated into immense wealth for the company. The riches of Bengal flowed into British coffers. It also gave them control over a vast population and resources. The British now had a firm grip on Bengal. Plac set a dangerous precedent. It showed that military might could be used to achieve political and economic goals. It demonstrated that the company could use its military might to achieve its political and economic ambitions. This was a new era of British dominance. This victory emboldened the company to pursue a more aggressive expansionist policy in the following decades. They were now unstoppable. The Battle of Plac was not just a battle for territory, it was a battle for the future of India. The repercussions of this battle would be felt for generations to come. Section 4. Cunning and Conquest. The British Strategy for Domination. The British did not achieve dominance in India through military might alone. Their success stemmed from a shrewd combination of military strategy, political maneuvering, and economic exploitation. One of their key tactics was the policy of divide and rule. They exploited existing rivalries between Indian rulers. They would support one ruler against another, creating a climate of mistrust and instability. Bribery and corruption were also integral tools in the company's arsenal. They bribed officials, nobles, and even royalty to secure favorable trade deals and political alliances. The vast wealth of the company allowed them to buy influence and loyalty, further weakening the existing power structures. The company also understood the importance of controlling trade. They strategically established trading posts in key locations. This gave them control over vital trade routes and access to valuable resources. This control over trade allowed them to dictate terms to Indian merchants and princes. They could manipulate prices and control the flow of goods. The British were also masters of propaganda and information control. They used their influence to shape perceptions of their rule. They presented themselves as benevolent rulers, bringing order and progress to a chaotic land. This narrative, often disseminated through education and media, helped legitimize their presence in the eyes of some sections of the Indian population. Section 5. Buxar and Beyond, cementing British control. The Battle of Buxar, fought in 1764, solidified British dominance in northern India. This pivotal conflict was a follow-up to the Battle of Plac, which had already set the stage for British expansion. This battle pitted the British East India Company against a formidable alliance of Indian rulers. The stakes were high, as control over vast territories and immense wealth hung in the balance. This alliance included the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II, who sought to reclaim his authority and restore the Mughal Empire's former glory. Shuja-ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Awadh, brought his considerable resources and military might to the coalition, hoping to curb British influence, and Mir Qasim, the deposed Nawab of Bengal, who had a personal vendetta against the company for his ousting. The combined forces of the Indian rulers dwarfed the company's army. They had numerical superiority and local knowledge, which they believed would give them an edge. However, the British, led by Hector Munro, were better equipped and had superior military tactics. Munro's leadership and the discipline of his troops played a crucial role in the outcome. The battle was a disaster for the Indian alliance. Their forces were routed, suffering heavy casualties and a significant loss of morale. And Shah Alam II was forced to sign the Treaty of Allahabad in 1765. This treaty was a humiliating concession for the Indian rulers. This treaty granted the company the right to collect taxes known as Diwani from Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. The Diwani rights were a significant source of revenue. This was a turning point. The financial power gained from tax collection allowed the company to fund further military campaigns and administrative expansion. The company was no longer just a trading company but a major political power. They began to exert influence over local rulers and integrate themselves into the political fabric of India. They now controlled the revenue of some of the most fertile lands in India. These regions were rich in resources and crucial for agricultural production. The Diwani rights transformed the company into a de facto ruling power. They established administrative structures to manage their new territories efficiently. They now had the financial resources to maintain a large army, expand their territories, and assert their dominance over a vast region. This military strength was essential for their continued expansion. The Battle of Buxar and the subsequent Treaty of Allahabad marked the beginning of the company's transformation from a trading corporation into a colonial power. This shift had long-lasting implications for the Indian subcontinent. It set the stage for the establishment of the British Raj, which would come into existence a few decades later. The foundations of British rule in India were laid during this period, shaping the future of the region for centuries to come.